I'm John Batchelor. Mary Kissel of the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal is here. And we present a case to all of America. New York City, wintertime, 5 p.m. in the afternoon, crowded, Crown Heights, Brooklyn. This is a good neighborhood, very busy people, working hard. The winter has been hard in New York. You bounce along through potholes on the bus. Two officers, rookies, just graduated the police academy in December of 13. James Lee and Randy Chow. There's an altercation on a bus. Two men are identified as fare beaters. They've snuck onto the back of a bus. If you understand how New York City buses work, perhaps they're everywhere in America, when the door opens in the front, the door can in the back, and if someone is quick and sneaky, they can hold it open and slip in without paying the fare. The officers approach these men. One of them runs. In the pursuit, his name is Robinson. Shots are fired. Robinson has what is eventually identified, the arrest has been made, as a .45 caliber weapon. The policemen, the rookies, Lee fires 5 times, Chow fires twice, hit nothing, but Lee is struck in the legs. That's the first cop shot in New York in the new year under Mayor de Blasio and Commissioner Bratton, who is new to the force. Eddie Hayes joins us, my consigliere, my attorney. Eddie has much experience in New York City police matters. Eddie, a cop shot is not a good story, but this brings up stop and frisk that was much in the news, the controversy of it in the last mayoral election. Stop and frisk is no more, but that perpetrator, the alleged shooter, Robinson, was carrying a .45 pistol on a bus, and the police come up against him, Eddie. Is that the result of dropping stop and frisk in Crown Heights? That could be anywhere in middle-class New York.
Listen, those kinds of things happen. Do I think that stop and frisk was a deterrent, and the lack of stop and frisk makes it easier for people to walk around with guns? Yes, I do. I mean, I think stop and frisk was very efficient and effective.
Eddie, what about the issue that these two cops were rookie cops, and they were in a neighborhood which John classifies as middle-class Brooklyn? Well, okay, but it's also close to some very sketchy areas of Brooklyn, and they put these rookie cops in that area just a couple weeks or months on the beat. Is that a good idea?
Well, look, they were very brave. That's what you become a cop for. And I'm not going to. They're very brave, you know. I mean,
but not to criticize them, Eddie, but the policy of putting them in that situation.
Well, the policy is whether you should put them in there with another rookie or with somebody that has more experience. My own preference would be to put them in with somebody that's more experienced, but they generally put these rookie cops in the street by themselves. And in any case, look. If you're a young cop and you're chasing some guy down the street with a .45, you know you're a brave guy. That's what you.
James Lee has shot Randy Chow, a female officer I now identify. They were on the street as rookies, part of an Operation Impact, I believe it's called, that was initiated under over Commissioner Kelly, and Commissioner Bratton has continued it, where you take new police and you put them into areas that you're concerned about. Eddie, in addition here, we have the issue of Mr. Robinson, the alleged shooter. He'd been arrested 6 times. There was an active warrant for his arrest in Pennsylvania on charges of narcotics. And he's carrying a weapon.
On a bus, Eddie.
On a bus
that you or I could be on.
Was that always there and we just didn't pay attention because Kelly was the boss?
That's always a scandal.
Really?
It happens all the time. Somebody with a bad record, he flees when he's supposed to return to court, and he does something. I mean, they did do, yes, that happens all the time. So it's one of the things that always makes the papers. It always is reprehensible, but it happens.
So I could be on an elevator with a serial killer, Eddie? That's what you're telling me? Well, in Midtown Manhattan?
I wouldn't get on an elevator with John. I've always been a little
what is stop and
about him, but
stop and frisk.
Lee Mason
did stop and frisk.
I'm definitely not going anywhere with her.
Did stop and frisk cut back on this kind of incident? Is there evidence for that? And is this a question mark about all of the campaigning against Commissioner Kelly?
I think that the elimination of stop and frisk will cause more incidents like this. The question is, people have got to decide something. Do you want more freedom, or do you want more risk? And a lot of people would say, I'd rather have more freedom. But most people that are, working middle-class people would rather have more protection.
Well, there's another question going on here in New York having to do with another choice.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Mary, you know this story.
Yes, this is a great story. Do we want the dream of the Kennedy family, Camelot, or do we want the reality of a Ms. Carrie Kennedy, RFK's daughter, who is now on trial for driving while under the influence of a sleeping pill? And John, I don't really get the defense here.
I'll listen to Eddie. I'll listen to my attorney on this.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, right, exactly. I understand. The Kennedys are famous, and so therefore, as a prosecutor, as a politician, associating yourself anywhere near the Kennedys gets a lot of ink. Right, Eddie?
Well, what she says is she gets up in the morning and she takes an Ambien by mistake, right? And that she doesn't realize the side effects until she runs into a truck.
Who takes an Ambien by mistake? Eddie.
Well, that happens. You can't blame
What?
It does happen. I mean, that
Don't you have to be prescribed Ambien?
You're talking to a defense attorney.
Ridiculous.
You're doing something wrong and you ought to pull over.
Mary doesn't understand that.
I don't understand that.
You just dropped into your defense attorney style, Ed.
Well,
it happens.
I happen to like her lawyer a lot, Jerry Lefcourt, but as far as if I was on the jury, she's going. I mean, she's getting convicted.
Eddie, the front page of the New York Post today says Carrie Kennedy pleads with jury and says that she was abandoned as a child because her father was assassinated. Now, that's terrible. It pulls at the heartstrings, but is that a defense?
No.
Eddie, finally, and we only have 15 seconds, the gun charge against Robinson. Is this an alarm bell for all of us?
Well, yes, it is an alarm bell, and B, they're going to charge him with attempted murder. But it is an alarm bell. Hey, listen, people got to face it. If you don't want stop and frisk, you're going to take an additional level of risk.
Ed Hayes, Mary Kissel, Officer Lee, and Officer Chow, two very brave young people. I'm John Batchelor.